So we thought for a minute we would check the top bar hive, see if y'all would like to see what it looks like. I haven't been in it in 3 weeks, so they should have put up a lot of honey and capped it. We're not going to harvest any today, but I'll harvest some when I get back here in 2 weeks. So you can see at the front of the top bar hive that they're going crazy because it's hot. Now there's no way to put beer caps on this or do anything to give them any more ventilation. They do have a screen bottom board, but it has an insert under it, so they're not getting as much ventilation as they would be if they were in a regular Langstroth hive. So we're going to advertise our arrival. Let's look for a minute, Dylan, see if we see any pollen coming in. I do think pollen must be a little bit less right now because you didn't see it much in the other hives either. And these bees haven't found that beautiful red pollen. Okay, so no pollen coming in that we can see, but they're relatively calm as we stand by this front door. And I'm knocking on the door with my smoker. So what I found, Dylan, is it helps to shoot just from there, just shoot in that direction. Come up as close as you want to, shoot in that direction, it's good. Now these bees have a sagging screen bottom board. You can come up here and show them the screen bottom board. This hive is the Cadillac of hives, so it has a screen bottom board down there, but it has sagged and it allows the bees to come under the top bars and out of the hive. So we have an entrance hole drilled right here so that they can get out when they get trapped in the top. I used to open the top and find all kinds of dead bees because they couldn't figure out how to get out of the top. They couldn't figure out how to go backwards, back down, you know, the way they came. Bees are smart, but they were not that smart. So this is our follower board, I believe, and this is the end of the hive. So the hive is taking up that much space. If you imagine it as a Langstroth hive, these are, let's say we were doing 8-frame Langstroth. This is 8 frames, 2 boxes, 8 frames, 3 boxes, about the equivalent of a stack of 4 Langstroth boxes. But these are frames that they're not, well, they are building come on, but they shouldn't be, because the hive is actually in beyond this. Now you can come over here, Dylan, and show them this is what's called a follower board, and it's a solid board, and it marks the end of the hive. And there's a hole right here for ventilation, and that's what that's supposed to do. It's also nice for them to have somewhere where they can get some ventilation. Now the hard thing about a top bar hive, and the reason you move the follower board first, there's wax moth larvae in here, which I don't like, but there's not wax moths. The wax moths are always in your hive, and what you want is for them not to hatch out, and they don't if you've got a strong hive, because the hive keeps that from happening. Okay, this is just beautiful. So I'm going to show you the first frame. Now this little instrument is for getting the wax. If they happen to glue it to the side of the hive, you'll break it off from the top, and that's a bad thing. So I'm taking this down the side against the board. That's the side of the hive, and they have not attached this comb to the wall of the hive. So I should be able to lift this frame up. And now sometimes, because the smoke is so far up there at the front, sometimes with this hive I do have to use smoke. So we're going to pull this out and just look at this frame. Isn't that pretty? So I've stored honey in it. There's honey on this side, but it's not completely stored, not completely full, and not completely capped. So we're not ready to harvest from this hive. This is a frame that I added about 3 weeks ago, the last time I was in here. This is not a frame because it's a top bar. This is a top bar that I added 3 weeks ago, and you can see they've done very little on it. Because, why? We have no nectar flow. Without nectar, they can't grow honey. It's another frame added early, and they can't grow honey in it. And this one I can see just, ouch, just got stuck. I can see from looking at it that I'm going to just spray my finger with smoke so that I won't encourage them to come sting me again on that same hand, which is what they'll do if you smell like the pheromone that says somebody is bothering us. It's another very pretty, they make very pretty comb on top bar hives, and they dry it themselves. It just couldn't be prettier. This has got a lot of uncapped nectar, and you can see those little holes in the top. They've made those to have passage through the hive, so they haven't filled in those gaps because it helps them have a way to move through the hive. Now you keep your top bars banged up close against each other. Here's one I put in that they didn't use because I put it in the week that the nectar flow ended. And they don't use the frames if there's no nectar to drop. They have to have nectar to draw out honey. So I'll do a better job of getting this without squashing the bee and having her sting me. Again, isn't this pretty? It's interesting that they filled it up about the depth of a frame on this side. I don't know what they've done over there. Yep, the same. They haven't gone down all the way to the bottom, and it's because they ran out of nectar. Now there's some possibility we have a little bit of nectar in the later summer when goldenrod and that kind of thing start blooming, but it's not a nectar flow. Here again, see, they've been fine, but they are not in any position for me to harvest anything. And this being a new hive this year, since they haven't capped this honey, we may very well leave almost all of it for them for next year. We might harvest a frame of capped honey if we have one. Now here's a frame that has brood on it. It's hard to find brood in the top bar hive. Look how many frames we went through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, all with partial honey stored on them. And now we come to one, not this one, but the one beside it that actually has brood on it and honey. So I'm going to run my little instrument down the side, and they have it a little bit connected. Get it unconnected. Same over here. Run it down the sides, but I don't break it off because it's going to be more influenced by the fact that it's connected to the wax on the side, and it'll break off from the top bar, and it's a real mess when you do that. I did that the first year I had this hive, and I made the biggest mess. And these are brood frames down at the bottom where they did have brood, where that darker color is. They did have brood. Now the brood is hatched out, and they're not replacing it with brood. They're probably going to use it for honey. It's hard to see what's going on in this hive because I didn't bring anything to hang the frame on of it. You can use two package boxes or the right height to do it, but I haven't done that this year. I've been more just picking it up and looking at it and hoping for the best. I'm going to look at one more brood frame, and then we're going to put this hive back together because we don't have any worries about them. They're actually just doing great. Couldn't ask for a better hive. This is a swarm that moved in 2 days after I'd cleaned out after the hive died. Ouch! I stung you on the same thumb. They send a message and say, you know, beekeeper advancing. Danger, Will Robinson. Same thumb. Cover it with some. I might even put a glove on for this very last. Oh. Cool, since that thumb seems so vulnerable. Great ones. They're rose garden ones, but they're hard to get on. Again, they've had brood on this frame, and now they have honey at the top like they do on a brood frame, but there's no brood left in here because the queen is not laying down here. She's probably laying in the front of the hive, and we're not going to go there. So I'm going to pull out one more frame where I can see some brood that's actually capped. I think it's drone brood. We're going to look at that. Forgot to check and see if this one was put to the side of the box. I'm a little scared now about that. So we go in here where I can maybe turn it. Nope. Ouch. It's stung again. Oh, I got her off my finger before she stung me. Alright, I'm done. 2 stings on each hand is enough for me. I'm not going to try to look at that. So we put this guy together. And we try to push the frames, the top bars as close together as we can because that's the roof of their hive. with me now. They're like, go away. You're tired with this interference. We want you to leave. And I will gladly accede to their wishes and go away. What a good hive. It has really done well. I cleaned this hive up and literally days after it got cleaned up on Saturday and on Wednesday, this swarm moved in. If I hadn't been stung twice, I would be gentler about moving these frames back together. But I'm not being that way because I have pheromone on my other hand now, my glove. So I don't want to get them going. Instead, I get them mad by moving too fast. You know, because the secret to bee keeping is to move as slowly as you possibly can. Alright, we're almost done, girls. We'll be out of your hair in no time. Yeah, also mad at me. I also see one small hive beetle in there. Not surprising, this hive is in the shade. It's in the shade pretty much all the time. And that is a recipe for small hive beetles. So we'll just have to keep watching for small hive beetles in this hive. And I don't know how to work on small hive beetles in this hive, but I will try to find out a way. I don't know what kind of traps you can put in for small hive beetles, but I'm sure there's some. And like I said, I didn't see many. I saw 2. So, okay, so this hive is put back together, and we are going to call it a day. And thank you for coming to the hive inspection.